They found him on a dead moon. The ground was black, covered in ash and broken metal. Smoke rose from the wreckage of crashed ships and burned-out tanks. Alien bodies lay scattered everywhere, but not just aliens. Combat creatures. Massive beasts. Bred only for war. Their thick hides were torn, their jaws were broken. Every single one of them was dead. Commander Threx of the Varnak scout team stepped out of his ship, scanning the field. His soldiers followed with weapons ready. Something felt wrong. This wasn't just a battlefield, it was a massacre. Then they saw him. A single human stood in the middle of the destruction. Blood dripped from his face. His armor was cracked and scorched. One arm hung useless, and a large gash ran down his side. He looked like a ghost. But he was still standing. The soldiers raised their rifles. He didn't move. "Identify yourself!" Threx shouted, speaking in intergalactic standard. The human looked up slowly. His eyes were calm, cold. "Commander Rex Carter," he said in a quiet voice. "Earth Navy SEAL." Threx flinched. That name didn't belong here. Earth was far, too far. And the Navy SEALs, they were elite warriors from humanity's war. Days, long thought extinct. The war had ended 10 years ago. This couldn't be right. Threx's ship AI ran a scan. After a moment, it spoke. Subject, Rex Carter. Rank, Commander, Unit, Navy SEAL. Status, killed in action. Earth year, 2315. The alien soldiers looked at each other, confused and afraid. How was a dead human standing in front of them? And why were so many combat creatures dead around him? Carter dropped to one knee, finally showing weakness. "I need medical," he said, "and water." Threx gave the signal. Carefully, the Varnak team moved in. They put him in stasis and carried him back to the ship. Inside the med bay, their doctors worked to stabilize him. Strange things showed up in the scans. Nanotech in his blood, some kind of regeneration system, and a dense muscle structure not seen in normal humans. "He's enhanced," the doctor said. "Earth must have modified him. This man is a living weapon." Hours passed. When Carter finally opened his eyes again, Threx was there waiting. "You should be dead," the alien commander said. Carter gave a faint smile. "I was. Then I got better." Threx didn't laugh. "Those beasts out there," Threx said. "You killed them alone?" Carter nodded. "They attacked. I defended. They weren't the first." The alien commander leaned forward. "You were left behind." Carter looked away. "The mission failed. My team died. The ship left without me." His voice didn't shake. No sadness, just facts. "So I stayed." "Stayed where?" "Behind enemy lines. I hunted their labs, sabotaged their operations, hid when I had to, fought when I didn't." Threx stared at him. "For 10 years?" Carter looked him in the eye. "Yes." A silence settled between them. The ship's crew had been watching the feed. Soldiers, engineers, even the cooks. They couldn't believe it. One human, just one, had survived a full decade in enemy territory. Not only survived, but won. Later, as the ship moved away from the dead moon, some younger crew members gathered near the viewing window. "How did he kill them?" one whispered. "They're combat creatures. They're unstoppable." Another answered quietly, "Maybe. To us. But to him, he's something else." In the crew quarters, rumors started spreading. That he was a ghost, that he had no fear, that the combat beasts ran from the scent of him. They didn't know what was true, but they knew one thing. This man was dangerous. But not to them. At least not yet. In the dark corner of the medbay, Carter stared at the ceiling. He didn't sleep. His eyes never closed. He was remembering faces, his team, their last stand, the promises he made to them before they died. He hadn't just survived. He had continued the mission. The war may have ended for the galaxy, but not for him. They never expected trouble on a peaceful ship, but trouble found them quickly. The Varnak crew was still unsure what to make of the strange human. Commander Rex Carter. Some were curious, others afraid, but no one was prepared for what happened next. One evening, during a routine check, a heavy alarm sounded. Red lights flashed through the corridors. The ship's AI announced in a calm voice, "Security breach detected. Unknown life form aboard." The crew rushed to the source of the alarm, a cargo bay holding captured combat creatures. These beasts were fierce, dangerous. They had been caught on a recent mission and kept under strict guard. But now, one of them had broken free. Panic spread. Soldiers grabbed weapons, engineers hid behind consoles. The ship's narrow halls filled with hurried footsteps and shouted orders. The creature was huge, with sharp claws and glowing eyes. It snarled and snapped, knocking over equipment as it searched for prey. Carter stepped forward, calm as ever. "Let me handle this," he said, his voice low and steady. The crew hesitated but trusted the man who had survived the dead moon. The creature lunged at Carter with a roar. The human didn't flinch. Using only a broken pipe from the floor, he moved with lightning speed. The fight was short but fierce. Carter dodged claws and teeth, striking precise blows to weak spots on the beast's body. Finally, the creature collapsed, panting and defeated. The crew watched in stunned silence. Their fear changed to awe. This man was no ordinary soldier. He was a predator among predators. After the fight, Captain Threx approached him. "How did you do that? That beast could tear us all apart." Carter wiped sweat from his brow. "I've faced worse. This isn't my first fight with them." The crew demanded answers. "Why didn't you tell us about your skills? About what you can do?" Carter looked away. "Because it's dangerous to be known. Enemies watch for weakness. I keep my past hidden." The ship's doctor studied Carter closely. "Your body heals fast. You're stronger than normal humans. What else are you hiding?" Carter said nothing. His silence made the crew uneasy, but they could not deny his value. Days passed, and Carter trained quietly. He taught the soldiers how to fight the combat creatures using quick, smart moves, not just brute force. Slowly, the crew began to trust him. But there was something darker behind his calm. A memory haunted Carter, of being betrayed and left alone. The mission that had sent him to the dead moon wasn't finished. The enemy still hunted him. Late tea. One night, as the ship drifted through silent space, Carter stood by the window. Stars flickered in the distance. He whispered to himself, "This fight isn't over. Not yet." The crew could see the determination in his eyes. He was not just surviving. He was preparing for a war no one else could see coming. And when that war arrived, even the deadliest combat creatures would bow before him. One mini. The ship's medical bay was quiet, but the tension inside was thick. The doctor carefully examined Commander Rex Carter's body, scanning every inch with advanced alien technology. What they found surprised them all. Inside, Rex's blood flowed. Tiny machines, nanobots that healed his wounds quickly. His muscles were stronger than any humans they had seen before. His bones were denser, able to take hits that would break normal bones. The technology inside him was unlike anything from Earth or the galaxy's known medical science. The doctor looked up at Threx. "This man is not normal. He is enhanced. Earth must have used secret military technology on him." Rex lay on the bed, watching the two aliens talk. He knew the truth, but he didn't want to share everything. Some things from his past were too dangerous to tell. Threx stepped closer to Rex. "How did you get this inside you? Did Earth give it to you before the mission?" Rex's eyes darkened. "Yes. It was part of a secret program, Project Iron. Warrior. The best soldiers were given nanotech to make them stronger, faster, and harder to kill. But it was dangerous. Only a few survived the process." The aliens were shocked. They had heard of human military projects but never imagined something so advanced. Rex continued, "The nanobots fix injuries fast. They fight infections and keep me alive. But it's not magic. It's science and pain." The crew began to respect him more. He was not just a survivor. He was a super soldier, a weapon shaped by Earth's darkest experiments. But Rex carried a heavy burden. The power inside him came with a cost. His body was always healing, but his mind sometimes drifted into pain and memories he could not escape. Late. At night, alone in the ship's small room, Rex touched the scar across his chest. He thought about the friends he lost, the mission he had failed, the enemy still out there, waiting. Threx visited him once more. If you are this powerful, why do you hide your true strength? Rex looked up with tired eyes. Because power makes me a target. If the enemy knows what I am, they will come for me harder, and I cannot let them win. The alien commander nodded slowly. He understood. This was a man who had fought wars inside and outside himself. The crew began to see Rex as more than a ghost from Earth. He was a living legend, a weapon and a warrior. But above all, he was still human, carrying the pain and hope of a lost planet. And the galaxy was about to learn that the quietest soldiers were often the deadliest. The ship's alarms blared, waking everyone from their restless sleep. Hostile faction had captured Commander Rex Carter and thrown him into their combat arena. This was no ordinary prison. It was a place where warriors fought for survival, their battles watched by thousands. Rex stood alone in the center of the arena, surrounded by 6 elite combat beasts. These creatures were massive, their eyes glowing red with rage and hunger. The crowd roared, waiting for the deadly fight to begin. But something unexpected happened. As the beasts moved closer, their snarls softened. One by one, they stopped, lowered their heads and bowed before Rex. The crowd gasped in disbelief. The alien general, watching from his throne, leaned forward and whispered, "He trained them?" Rex said nothing. He simply stood tall, calm as a stone. He knew these beasts. He had hunted them for years. They respected strength and skill, and Rex had earned their respect. The general's anger boiled over. "Kill him," he ordered. But the beasts refused. They protected Rex, blocking the attacks of the guards. The arena erupted into chaos. Rex fought not with brute force, but with control and strategy. He moved quickly, dodging and striking with precision. The beasts fought alongside him, their loyalty clear. After the battle, the arena was silent. The general was humiliated, and the crowd was stunned. Rex had survived against impossible odds, and he had turned the enemy's weapons into his allies. Back on the ship, the crew watched the recorded fight in awe. They realized Rex was more than a soldier. He was a legend in the making, a man who could change the course of the war. But Rex knew this was only the beginning. The enemies who captured him were dangerous, and they would try again. He had to be ready, for himself and for the crew who now depended on him. In the quiet after the fight, Rex whispered to himself, "They don't understand. This war isn't just about fighting beasts. It's about winning hearts and minds, even those of monsters." The stars outside the ship shone quietly as Commander Rex Carter sat alone in the observation deck. Captain Threx joined him, curious to understand the man who had survived so much. "Why didn't you come back to Earth?" the alien asked gently. Rex stared at the distant lights, his voice steady but filled with memories. Because the mission wasn't over. 10 years ago, Earth had sent Rex on a secret mission deep into enemy space. His task was simple in words but deadly in reality: to destroy a hidden facility where the combat creatures were bred and trained. The enemy's power came from these labs. If they were destroyed, the war might end. Rex and his team had succeeded in the first strike, but disaster struck soon after. Their ship was attacked, his team was lost, and Rex was left behind. Alone and wounded, he could have escaped and returned home. But the mission was too important. Instead of running, Rex stayed. He moved silently through enemy territory, sabotaging labs one by one. Each strike weakened the enemy's hold on the galaxy. The combat creatures began to fear the smell of humans, especially one human. The crew listened in silence. They had seen the scars on his body but didn't know the price behind each one. Rex's voice was calm, but beneath it lay the pain of loss and sacrifice. Threx asked, "Did you ever think about giving up?" Rex looked at him, eyes hard. every day, but giving up means losing everything. I promised my team I wouldn't fail. The alien captain nodded. Your courage is beyond anything I've seen. Rex smiled faintly. It's not just courage, it's purpose. Without a mission, a soldier dies inside. The crew began to understand. Rex was not just fighting for survival, he was fighting for a future where his sacrifices would mean peace. But Rex knew the enemy was not finished. The labs were rebuilding, stronger and smarter. The war was far from over. And so the mission continued. The quiet of space shattered when the enemy returned. Bigger ships appeared on the scanner, lab ships carrying new weapons and deadlier combat creatures. They were coming for Rex Carter. The crew gathered in the command room, tension thick in the air. Captain Threx looked to Rex for a plan. Rex didn't hesitate. It's time for round 2. Unlike before, Rex was not alone. He had trained the BAR crew, soldiers and engineers alike, to fight like humans. They moved faster, smarter. They were ready. The battle began with a surprise attack. Rex led a team in a daring raid on the enemy's flagship. They snuck aboard through hidden airlocks, avoiding patrols. Rex's experience showed in every move, silent, deadly, perfect. Inside the ship, Rex faced the enemy scientists who once created the combat creatures. They sneered at him, but he was not afraid. Using a mix of hand-to-hand combat and quick thinking, Rex disabled their control systems. The creatures aboard the ship went wild, turning on their creators. Outside, the crew disabled the lab ship's engines. Explosions rocked the vessel as Rex and his team escaped just in time. The enemy was shocked. Their greatest weapon had been turned against them. After the battle, Rex gathered the crew. We fight not just to survive, but to win, he said. We teach, we learn, and we never back down. The crew cheered, their spirits lifted. They were no longer just victims. They were warriors. But Rex knew this was only the beginning. The enemy would come again, stronger and more dangerous. And when they did, the galaxy would see the true power of humanity unleashed. The war had ended, but the story was far from over. Commander Rex Carter vanished into the vast darkness of space, refusing medals, fame, or even thanks. His mission was complete, but the galaxy remembered him, especially the creatures he once fought. In quiet corners of distant planets, rumors spread. Stories told of a man who was more than human, who trained deadly beasts to obey him. A warrior who survived impossible odds and changed the fate of entire worlds. Some said the combat creatures still whispered his name in fear. Others believed he was a ghost, watching from the shadows, ready to strike if the galaxy needed him. Again. Back on the ship, the crew often spoke of Rex in hushed tones, calling him a legend. He had taught them more than how to fight. He showed them courage, hope, and the will to stand against any enemy. Though Rex was gone, his legacy lived on. In every battle won, in every soldier inspired, and in every heart that refused to surrender. The galaxy had called humans monsters. But after Rex Carter, no one dared to say that again. Because some monsters are made to protect, some warriors are born to lead, and one man, just one, could make even the fiercest creatures bow. The legend of Rex Carter had only just begun, one mini,